What is up? Welcome to Supporter Kings. My name is St. Kramer with Brandon the Grizzly, and we're going to talk about the season finale of The Acolyte, the much anticipated finale, so we don't have to watch this thing anymore. Yeah. So, if you like it, I'm gonna be right after. If you like it, I'm glad for you. I'm jealous that you do like it. You know, I love Star Wars, and and I wish I liked it as much as you guys did.
I mean,
With that being said,
Screen Crush loves it.
Really?
Loves it.
I've been watching stuff. Damn.
Yeah. He loves it. He's like, oh, this is the best thing we got from Star Wars ever. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
That's interesting. So, I mean, like you said, like, you might pull something from it differently than other people. So, I'm legit being like legitimate. I'm not being like, sarcastic. Like, I am actually happy that you guys are enjoying it. But we all have our opinions here. We're going to talk about this episode, and then towards the end, we're going to do the whole rating for the entire season. But with that being said, Brandman, what you like about it? Anything you hate about it? How'd you feel about the ending?
I appreciated the fact that they went for like a story that was a little smaller. I appreciated that because we're used to these kind of grand scale stories in the galaxy far, far away. So it was nice to see, for a change, something that was a little more contained. I thought that, the actors, despite what we think about the quality of the show, I think like most of the main actors really gave it, did the best they could. They really put everything they had into it in that regard. I really liked the fight choreography, the lightsaber battles, stuff like that. I thought, I thought that was really where the show shined. That was probably one of the things that that was one of the few things that really managed to hook my attention with this show. So I liked what they were going for, I guess, hypothetically, in terms of the story. I think, am I talking about only what I did like at this point?
You can kind of get into both.
Okay. Yeah, I think where they went wrong is really by the time it ended, I just felt nothing. Even in the Star Wars content I dislike, I've at least walked away with a decision whether or not I liked it. I felt something at least. This just made me feel hollow. I just felt empty by the time I watched it. It was one big nothing burger of a show to me. One other absolute that I will say, I did kind of appreciate the fact that the Jedi were kind of portrayed as antagonists to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool to show that other side of the Jedi. That is one absolute that I will deal in. Star Wars reference for those who didn't pick it up.
Yep.
But so I did like that. I did like the idea that sometimes the Jedi aren't as right as they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say it did kind of gain a little bit of traction during the last 3 episodes. I think that's kind of where, I think it kind of stepped its game up a little bit. But at that point, it was almost too little too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, I was just very like, by the time it ended, like I was just like, oh, okay, that happened. I watched that.
Yeah.
What
else is on TV?
Yeah, and it had some cool characters like Carrie Ann Moss's character, Daphne Keene's character. I was expecting more. That girl's got a lot of like kind of street cred in the geek world with Marvel. With Logan, like with his Dark Instruments or his Dark Materials. I'm sorry. So I was, they were bigging her up like she was going to be this big vital part, and then they off her early on. It just, it just wasted a lot of good potential, I thought. but yeah, overall, I was just very like, okay, what can I watch next after I was finished with it?
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, Brian. What about you? Oh, real quick, Derpy said this show is just real bad fan fiction, which I've heard that a lot. And Travis said the Acolyte for me just got better and better after episode 3. Overall, I think it's better than Obi-Wan and probably Boba Fett. So
Okay.
okay.
What's up, Travis?
I respect that. Yeah, appreciate you being here, Travis and Derpy.
Okay, so the goods. That last lightsaber fight between Soul and Kamir was great. I enjoyed their lightsaber fight. I enjoyed some of the stuff they did. I questioned though, but it brought up more questions for me. So Soul can float down using the Force, right? But he can't hold two girls up with using the Force. So I mean, just little things like that. Like it just didn't make sense. But I think they did a great job with the wire. A lot of the stuff that they're doing, the hand-to-hand combat, having a long and a short,
Yeah,
lightsaber. I mean, the concept
weird,
it makes sense because it's Japanese, right? That's what you do, when you're talking about if you guys are into that type of lore. I mean, so it is that way, and I understand why they're doing this, and I think they hit a lot of details well. They really do things that they want to hit. They really do hit, and they have some stuff that looks really cool. Then they had like maybe 12 or 13 storylines that needed to end in this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ended like 4. And if there's no season 2, you're gonna be like, so there's 8 open storylines that we have no idea what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Then we have the point where it seems like I always was under the impression that one of the biggest things were the Jedi don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
And then every Jedi in this damn show has lied. Every single
It's a
one.
lot, yeah.
Like, and then they bring in Yoda at the end. So now Yoda knows what happened and he's in on the lie too. So the Master Jedi that we've all grown up with is in on the lie too. So understands that. So he lied too. So like, what the hell? It's just that really, really bothers me.
Yeah. It
And
just
then
made the Jedi look like assholes.
it's even worse. Like you don't deserve to do what you're doing. So I think that was, just really, really bad. The OSHA thing could be like you saw that coming. They really telegraphed that thing. And then the mind, even the mind wipe bothered me. You wiped your mind all the way from she's 8. This is the first time. What? They could do those things? They can wipe someone's mind to the 8 that's strong in the mind that's actually used the Force. They can wipe their mind to the what? When did this when did this happen? I don't understand when this stuff was ever said that this was possible. But Darth Plagueis seeing Darth Plagueis on the planet just around the corner with his finger, like that was weird. It was just very
and out of nowhere,
cringy for no reason. There was no reason. So, like, I'm watching it, and it's not like I hate the episode because there's some good parts of the episode. There really are some good, cool, quality things. It was a terrible finale, and they just left everything open, and they just threw random crap against the wall, and they didn't want to see if anyone complains about it. And I just it bothers me. It really bothers me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just my feelings.
Yeah. But I think when it was finished, I messaged you guys where I was like, it was an okay episode and a horrible finale. If this was like an episode in the middle, or maybe if like this was like the third to last episode, then I'm like, oh, cool. Now you're gonna get some cool shit, but it just ends, like you said, it didn't feel like a season finale. It felt like somewhere in the middle, like the shit was gonna really start, and then we got nowhere with it, and that's not just a Star Wars thing. That's a Disney Plus thing.
That's a
They're
Disney Plus
all
thing.
so many of them do that, and I don't know why they do that. It's super annoying. Um, the fight at the end was cool. You know, I didn't hate it. I love it as much as some other people. I don't hate it because I see a lot of hate from it. It was
Mhm.
cool. You know, I'm like, oh, you know, cool. They did the little, you know, very stereotypical trope where one's falling, then when it's like, you know, in slow mo or whatever it was doing.
But I don't even know if
Okay,
it's
yeah,
slow because I think he used the force to slow himself down. But if you're
what?
that good at it, then
Mhm.
what the
Yeah.
hell was the point?
See, but then
Like
Quimir, whatever, he was like slow too, right? Like I don't know. I would have to watch it again, but I mean, that was a cool shot. Don't get me wrong. However, it was,
but
you know,
does
like
anyone
there
else
was
notice
like,
that Quimir looked like he was fighting blind?
well, yeah. I mean, then isn't that
Yeah.
what they kind of
So anytime he
like,
puts the helmet on, it's like,
yeah,
yeah, he's actually
like you can't
fighting
see,
soul blind.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you know. So, and I guess that's like probably better for him, right? He's like, oh, I rather fight blind than you have an opportunity to peek around in my head. You know,
Yep.
which I'm like, that's cool. You know, I like that. Like he's that much of a badass. And it was like, I didn't mind him. I thought he was one of the coolest, if not the coolest
He was.
thing in the show.
Mhm.
Smilo Ren was super cool. I think technically his technical name is the Stranger.
Yeah,
That's
stranger. That's called
Quimir,
Crimea.
but Quimir, or but I don't even know if that's his real name. That could have been just his fake name he used. But everyone, that's Milo Ren. Yeah, it was just when she's wearing was it May? No, Osha's wearing the helmet in the beginning, and like she like turns her head and then like starts messing up everything around him. It was like okay, cool, and then they don't do anything with it. It just ends. Just take off the mask and yeah, let's pretend that didn't happen. It was like it just man, the everything the Plagueis thing I thought was shoehorned in, and then not only that, so Plagueis is one of the most important Sith lords almost of all time. Like he's the one that helped
Mhm.
create Anakin, right? You're already changing that story, which I remember saying, to Big Ford and the people. I was like, I'm gonna wait till the end to see if they explain it away. They
They
pretty
did.
much told you flat out, like they used the Force to create this kid, and
Yes.
they split the kid into two.
Well, okay, even more. So the thing that they said that little rhyme thing that they're saying is
Yeah.
the spell that she used to
Used to
create
make
them.
her. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
yeah,
what. I don't know where we got this from. It was the damn spell that she used to create them to split
yeah,
split the one person into two.
yeah, yeah. So, and so I was waiting for it, but then they just flat out Soul flat out tells them like this is what happens. Like, okay, cool. So now you guys are the first. You guys are the chosen ones or whatever. So you kind of take that away. You know, but then you throw in Plagueis, and then you throw in Plagueis for the first time in Star Wars on screen in a TV show. And it's not even you don't set it up, you don't do anything, you just have him creep around a corner. I don't care about age. You can change age, you can change birth dates. That's all whatever. That's all little things that you can write yourself out in the future. But to show this character, you know, being shown in it, it's like going to the MCU or something like that. Like, oh, cool. Hey, we're gonna introduce the X-Men in like I don't know, fucking what was the Secret Invasion? It was like you mean to tell me you're gonna give us the new Wolverine and the new Cyclops in a Secret Invasion Disney Plus show? That's stupid. You
No,
know,
it's more like they just walked out like, "Hey guys, you need help?" Like they've
yeah,
been there the whole time.
yeah, but then it's
Mhm.
like, but you show the guy, and then what was he living there? Why was he there? Was he training Quimir or like it was
Is he the
like
master? He's Primary's the
why?
master. Yeah.
Why was he there? I assumed that island that they were living on was kind of deserted. Right? I
Mhm.
mean, uh, so you just had to do creep out for no reason. And then even as a non-Star Wars fan, are there people that are like, who's that?
Yeah,
So now it's like,
everyone
so now
they
you
have no
piss
clue.
off the people who know the lore, and then you confuse the people who don't know the lore. You know, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, "Who's the creepy dude with the fingernails?" You know, and
Mhm.
like you don't explain anything. You have to explain shit. Like that's basic fucking storytelling. You know, that's what I had issues with
Have they
with
ever
Last
explained
Jedi.
anything?
Oh man, it's like you have to. You don't have to like spoon feed us things, but you have to at least leave a trail, something, so we can get to the place you want us to get to understand. They didn't do that. You know,
Or
you
you
know,
could have
if
one scene before have Quamir saying, "Yes, master, I will go to her."
yeah, something.
Mhm.
Even at the very very end. Say if you never seen Star Wars and this is the first thing you don't know anything about Star Wars, you knew Yoda was somebody important because at the end she's like, "Oh, master, blah blah blah," you know, and she's like, bowing down to him and shit. So you're like, "Oh, that little green dude with the ears is somebody really important," you know, like
Mhm.
that little teeny bit of dialogue explains it away. This is just a dude coming around the corner. You're like, "Hey, what's up with Creepo over there?" And it's like, oh yeah, no, he's actually one of the best Sith Lords of all time. Like what?
One of the greatest users of the Force, and he is awesome in every way.
Yeah,
And if he never wanted to fell asleep, then he probably would still be alive now.
yeah. And I remember telling you guys, I was like, he's not Plagueis the Wise anymore. He's Plagueis the Creep. Because he's just hiding behind corners and shit. So you know, so there's that. Yeah, there's that. The Yoda thing at the end, I didn't mind it as much that the actual showing. I just thought it was stupid that you have a senator running around and knowing what's going on. Hey, I heard some Jedi are killing people, and I heard it is somebody who knows how to use the Force and blah blah blah. So this
Mhm.
politician knows, but yet the High Council doesn't know.
Well,
Or they're choosing to ignore it.
I think the High Council promised, because this is about Jedi not lying again. They promised that if anything came up, they would go to the Senate with what was going on, and they'll at least let them know what's happening. And
Mhm.
that's why Vanestra like this made the decision that she's not going to tell the High Council, and that's why she could tell Master Yoda because he technically wasn't on the High Council at the time.
Mhm.
Well, no,
So
he
she's doing
is.
her.
She goes to him. She's like it seems like she's the highest ranking Jedi person in the show, and then she goes to Yoda at the end and like bows down to him. So I was like, so he's like
He's a
top
master,
dog.
but he might not be on the council.
I mean, they didn't even show the freaking council. First of all, but I'm assuming this is only being less than 100 years from Phantom Menace. Like he's on the council.
I
Like
think he's the one that makes all the rules. That tightens the Jedi up. You
I
know,
I think all that like it sounds good. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're smart enough to think that what they're gonna do. They know that's like a good like oh shit was bad back then. I redid it. And, like yeah, cool. You can explain that. I don't think they're gonna do that just because that seems too smart for the show.
that's too much like right.
Yeah, and just the Venestra, like the whole like as soon as she walks off the planet, she senses Smilo Ren. And it was like, what?
As soon as he had the
Like,
helmet off, she knew immediately. But
yeah,
no one else knew. No one else. But they didn't even do the hyperspace thing when she has her visions in hyperspace. They didn't even they set that whole thing up, right? Said, "Oh, I feel uneasy. I don't like this. It's my head. It
yeah,
hurts every time I
yeah.
do it."
She gets
And they
nauseous
set
and
that
shit.
up, and they never jumped into it. And if
No,
you watched any of this stuff before, you know Vanessa is one. She always gives those
two
visions when they're
episodes.
going. Like, why
They
would
they
you
they
set it up
brought
and
that up.
never see it?
They
Never do
brought it
anything
up
with
in
it.
2 episodes. They brought it up. They twice. Two different people brought it up too. You had her little, goofball Jedi friend, that was helping her, and then you had the politician. They
Yep.
all like, oh, hey, I heard you get nauseous. I heard you get sick. And then they don't show anything about her getting sick in night. It's like, why? Why did you have these people bring this up and then not show any payoff to it or whatever? What
I
none.
think it was just the idea to connect it to stuff that we know that she has her visions, and that she's going to be the one that talks about the whole prophecy. She's going to be the one that finds you're the one. There's going to be one that's born that brings balance to the Force. She's going to be the one that has that vision. And I think they're planning for a season 2, and I think that's why.
Yeah, they are. And she was a bad actress. Just in the green makeup, like you walked around like uncomfortable. I was like,
yeah,
I just didn't. I don't know.
yeah. What a just stilted, just beyond wooden performance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, like,
Can you imagine if Carrie Ann Moss was that character and could have gave us more,
like actual acting.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it never happens in Hollywood because it happens all the time, but she is married to what's her name? Headley, the showrunner.
Yeah.
John Blake. That's her. That's the
Leslie
so,
Headley.
Leslie Headley. Yeah. So
Carrie Ann Moss?
No. Vanessa.
Rebecca Henderson.
That's what I thought.
Chick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was also in Russian Doll too. So surprise. Yeah. So yeah, it's just I just had so many issues like with it, and maybe I wouldn't have so many issues with it if you had a couple more. That's why I was like, if you had a couple more episodes to get into some of the things, like you bled a crystal. You're the
cool
first
idea.
person. Well, they do it in the fucking comic books. It took Darth Vader like a few days and sitting and really trying to bleed the crystal. Like he had to go through a bunch of mental battles to bleed his crystal. She just squeeze it hard and just get really mad. It's like they're really showing you like, oh, she's really the chosen one. She's stronger than Vader.
Powerful, way more powerful than anyone that you've ever seen. And that does mess up all the lore that we've ever heard. So
yeah, wow. I mean, Vader is the strongest person probably ever to exist in Star Wars. Just because his M count was super high, all that stuff. And they bring her in and they're already like no, she could bleed a crystal without even trying. Like what? I mean, I did like when she turned on the lightsaber and it was like kind of still,
but you seen it bleed and seeing it going from Jedi to Sith, like it's almost like
Sith.
all the transformation. So I thought that was a great idea and showing the crystals and understanding what the crystals and talk about it bleeding, and that's how you become a Sith Lord. So seeing it on TV was great. Seeing it happen in 3 minutes was terrible.
Yeah, and she did it without even knowing or trying. That was the problem I had, because that's a new thing. That's a thing I believe a Disney Plus or Disney thing where the crystals have like personalities, and you can bleed a crystal. Because before the red crystals were fake. They were synthetic. I was trying to think of the word. They were synthetic, now and they did the bleeding, which I like that. I like having the Sith Lord, bleed the crystal and shit like that, because that makes Ahsoka even cooler, because when she has her white lightsabers, she repairs a 2 red ones.
Yep.
So she kind of like fixed it. So I'm like, that's awesome. I can't wait, and I hope they show it, but I don't know at this point, So I mean, yeah. So there's this, just her turning full evil. I believe, I could be wrong, she's the first person to ever force choke and kill a person from a force choke.
But I mean, they've been setting that up from the get-go, talking about you have to kill a Jedi without your lightsaber. That's how you become a Sith. Yeah, without a weapon. You have to do it. And then she was the first one to finally do that.
Yeah. So.
And Soul is so powerful that he's able to like slow down and do all this other stuff, but he gets force choked out.
Yeah. By his Padawan. Yeah. And I mean, maybe he allowed it. Maybe he was like, yeah, I deserve it. You can kill me. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Maybe he was kind of okay with it. But
were you surprised that Soul was still thinking he did the right thing?
Yeah.
I
was surprised from day one, when everyone else was around him, like, hey, let's not do this.
We
all
need
the
to
high
cover
up
this
people
up.
Like, no.
We need to cover this up, and he's still saying, "No, I did the right thing."
Yeah, you legit. I mean, one, you already kind of made it seem shady that the Jedi taking babies, but then you like legit like kidnap somebody. Like,
they're trying to keep it as like bring gray Jedi in, and
Which
and shades of gray. So you're not dark, you're not light, but you're in the middle, just like everybody else.
which
Then
is
if you're
fine. I don't
everybody, well,
mind.
if you're everybody else, then
Yeah.
what makes you special? What's the point? It's supposed to
Yeah.
be good versus evil, and it's not. It's just dudes versus dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just people fighting at this point. And I don't mind the gray Jedi thing if they want to turn that into canon. But the thing is, then you're not part of the Jedi Order. If you're a gray Jedi, then you're too much evil, even though you're not really evil, but you're too much. You're not fully good where the Jedi Order will accept you, which is
Or
like Ahsoka. Ahsoka was considered a gray Jedi.
because,
I
but
don't
it's
know,
because
now.
you have attachments.
You have attachments, or you have feelings, or you have things that they deem not pure.
What did you think about that with Osha? Finding out there wasn't Osha she wasn't not powerful enough. She didn't fail. She cared too much, and that's what caused her to fail, and that's why she had to leave the order.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think that was a good idea, or is that once again stupid?
Yeah, it was I didn't mind it. You know, they did the same thing with Anakin. And that's what I feel like they're doing. OSHA is trying to make her Anakin almost. Like, oh, you have a lot of attachments. You love people too much, or you don't want things to happen. Yeah. So I was like, I seen it already. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
What about you, B?
As far as the character of Osha,
Yeah.
I just didn't. I just couldn't connect with her for whatever reason. I just couldn't connect with the character. I couldn't connect with her. I couldn't connect with May. They just didn't really give a whole lot to work with.
Yeah.
Plagueis looked like he smoked a
Mhm.
bowl of Kyber Kush tail. Crystals.
I mean, Plagueis
Like
looks
crystals.
jacked up anyway. But yeah. Yeah.
You
Sorry.
know, with the other, no, with other characters, I at least kind of, like feel a connection to them in some way, shape, or form, or able to at least somewhat invest in them. I wasn't invested in Osha's story.
Mhm.
I thought she was just a blank sheet of a character,
Mhm.
But then, I know that's not saying a whole lot because on this show, it's kind of like who wasn't a blank sheet of a character,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean,
She,
Smilo Ren was the only one I wanted to know more about. Everyone else, I didn't give a shit.
mhm.
And then the Vanestra with her whip thing, whatever. Because when that's what she got her having a whip isn't that something that she had a vision, and that's what told her how to create her lightsaber in that way?
I
Wasn't
don't
it
know.
from through a vision? I believe that's what it was.
In the
But
show?
then no, not in this show, but like before, Vanestra's part of the comics and all that stuff. She's in there, and a lot of the stuff. Her
I gave up
storyline
on all that.
is known.
Yeah.
But her with, and then we have Quamir, like seeing the whip mark. I thought that was another storyline that kind of just
Yeah.
almost like we almost got it, and they were like, nope, just we
Yeah.
almost had it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why,
It's
like, it was an okay episode, but it was a horrible finale. It was a horrible finale. There should be at least 3, maybe 4 more episodes after this. Like, you need to connect, Smilo Ren and Vanestra. You need to connect them together. Plagueis, what's going on with that? Like that's not, it's throwing random shit at a wall, and calling it finished is not, that wasn't a finale for me. That wasn't a finale. That's why, it was a good episode. Like, I didn't hate the episode, but as a finale, I hated it as a finale.
Mhm.
Yeah. 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 Because if we never get a season 2, like, then what's the point of this show? If we don't get a season 2, it's almost, what's the point of the show? But also, I'm afraid to get a season 2 because are we just gonna get more of the same shit? Where, like, in this show, there's only, in what, the 8 episodes, there's like
Mhm.
3.5 episodes that actually matter.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah. I mean, we spent
Mhm.
25%
and
of the
it's funny
show
because
in the memory.
they said they cut 30% of the finale.
Why?
Like, why would you self sabotage like that?
Why?
I was reading about this. Oh yeah, we did went through a lot of different lines. There's a lot of stuff that we thought was gonna be in there, and they cut like 30% of it.
Why? I don't get it. I mean, it was a longer episode. I forgot how long it was.
Of
But
action,
it
it was
was
like 37 minutes of action.
was it? Damn. Yeah. We got T. What's up, T?
13.
T, what's up, man?
All right. I'm sorry I ranted, man. I yeah.
No, that's what we're here to do. It's cool.
I got some
It's
feelings
a
with this one. And then I
good
can't
to
even
hate.
rant to my girlfriend about it because she's like, I don't want to watch that shit from like day one. So
All you gotta do is come on Sunday.
pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So anything else before we get into our like rating for the season real quick?
Now let's rate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So real quick before we get into the ratings, let us know what you thought about the finale. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Because if you did like it, let us know why. I'm not here to say you're stupid for liking it. If you liked it, cool. I want to know why you liked it, stuff like that. I want to have a discussion with people because that to me, that's what the fandom is about, not all the other bullshit. Like, is I liked it, I didn't like it, let's talk, and then yeah, but yeah, so leave a comment, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Obviously we're Star Wars fans, so for the good or better, we're gonna watch Star Wars stuff.
Yep.
So and talk about it. But I appreciate everyone watching on the replay. If you're watching live, stick around because we're gonna get into our rating for the season.